Hey, it's Rylan at the Vic Shop. I got a great, exciting video for you guys today. A while back, I decided I wanted to build a supercharged bike, and life got in the way, and it took me a few years, but I finally got towards the end of the project. And a friend of mine, Ryan, at 801 Motorworks, happened upon a turbo kit. So we said to ourselves, you know what, we should finish these bikes and we'll race them and make it kind of like meet in the middle. We'll have a race and see who comes out on top, a friendly competition. So the rest is history. This is what we came up with. I ended up building my 2000 Sport Cruiser, 180 horsepower with the Supercharger. Ryan ended up building a Boardwalk with the Turbocharger and claims 160s or 70s for horsepower. And we decided on a drag strip in Julesburg, Colorado. This is going to be a great race for us because it highlights some of the things that we do at the Vic Shop, both turbocharge builds and supercharger builds. That's the kind of stuff that's right in our wheelhouse, and it's going to be great to see both of them face off. Yeah, these builds are so close in performance that it's really going to come down to rider skill. Who's going to be the better rider? Who's not going to miss a shift? Who's not going to break apart? Only time will tell.
We are at Julesburg Drag Strip in Julesburg, Colorado, one of the oldest tracks in the country. We were established in 1958. We were developed by some racers, basically, that paved the raceway, and it's been a racetrack ever since. We're open to the public anytime, any kind of racing, bracket racing, heads-up racing. We do all kinds, and everybody's welcome to come anytime they'd like.
Ryan and I at 801, I was talking about my supercharged bike, and then he ended up getting a turbocharged bike, and we were talking about it one day, and I thought to myself, we ought to race. That'd be a good promotional thing. We ought to line these things up. We should meet in the middle somewhere, and so that's how we wound up coming to Julesburg. And at that point, the bike was in a bunch of pieces. I had built it, the engine, 3 years ago or something, and then just life got in the way, other projects. And I had sat for quite a while, and so I made a big push to get all this stuff done. Like, we had to build the exhaust, and so there was a lot of prep, just finalizing the bike, many hours of just little last bolt-on things. And then it had sat so long that the fuel pump had locked up, and so you're thrashing to try to get the thing running. And then it all kind of came together in the last week before the race, and I put a nice tune on it and took it around the block. And then at the very last minute, last night actually, the rear brake master cylinder decided to go out, and so late at night we put a new rear brake master cylinder on it because we're going to anticipate a huge need for the brakes. So, but she's ready now, and looking forward to tomorrow's race.
We knew that Rylan Voss's supercharger setup was a really strong and potent setup. So we knew that we had to come here with something really sharp, strong. It was engine first, okay? Stock engine, we had to make sure it ran right, okay? So I knew that our setup would have to have OEM components, OEM sensors, OEM fueling. And then we're like, you know what? It has to look nice as well. So last week we received all the parts from the paint shop, which they're always slow, okay? Every paint shop, slow. It was on the lift last week in pieces. Now she's assembled, ready to go. If you look at horsepower specs, he's 190 horsepower, all right? At 7,000 RPMs. We're 168 horsepower, all right? But we're hitting those foot-pounds at 3,000 RPMs. 165 foot-pounds, we'll have him on the line. It has 801 inside. We fueled it right through the ECU. It rides like it's off the showroom floor, except for it's got a lot of power. So if we hook on that strip, our shop bike will smoke the Vic Shop Supercharged bike.
So the reason that I think the Supercharger is going to win is because even though that turbo builds a lot of mid-range torque and it's really good for a street machine, and I love turbos, but I think the Supercharger is going to shine in this situation because it builds all of its power at the top end, and we're just going to be all top end. It's racing, you know, it's going to spend all that time between 5,000 and 7,000 RPM, where this thing is just smoking. Hopefully not literally.
I don't know what else to say. I'm not sure if you're on it or not, or if I'm on it.
And yeah, here it is. It's still misting. It's noon on Saturday. We were supposed to have been racing already and woke up to mist, and it really hasn't lightened up much. They brought in a big blow dryer that runs behind a tractor, and they're drying off the track, and we're hoping it'll clear.
Man, it is horrible outside. We have hundreds of folks here from all over the country, and I hope we can race.
I think traction and rider skill is going to play a huge part in today's race. The rider skill can make up for a lot of horsepower, and so we'll just see who's can manage to hook up and hit all their shifts and get down the track quickest.
I'm heavy, okay? Seattle Alex is lighter. He rides hard. So we fought overnight. I'm like, Alex, you're racing. No, I'm racing. No, you're racing. As shop owner, I'm like, you know, I want to win the race. It was hard for us, you know, to make that like, all right, Alex, you're on the bike. It was super hard.
We should be able to start. So I got the Supercharged bike, and it's a 2000 Sport Cruiser, but it's got a 106 motor in it from like an 08 to 17 bike. It's run into Lloyd's Procharger. They, out of the box, are putting out about 12 PSI or so. The engine's been built to handle the boost. It's got forged pistons and Crowder rods. No intercooler. It's just a simple supercharged setup. Aftermarket fuel system, so we can run all kinds of different alternative fuels if we so desire, but I just have pump gas in it, 91 octane at the moment. It's making 182 horsepower on my dyno at the Vic shop. And yeah, oh, big clutch, Barnett clutch pack, Lloyd's variable plate. We took the judder out, put an extra plate in there, custom fabricated plenum, and all the plumbing. Yeah, excited.
We are 100% fueled right through the ECU on this bike. So we overwrite the factory fueling files in the ECU, and we can put anything in this bike that we like. With that ECU flashing, we have fuel, spark, rev limits, we have everything. So this thing on the road is like a showroom floor victory. Under 3,000 revs, under 50% throttle, it'll run like OEM stock. I think it runs smoother with the ECU flashing, and it's more operable on the street for sure, 100% for sure. This thing is our showpiece, and it's gonna haul ass out there.
My bike uses a different setup for fueling and ignition control. It's got the stock ECM just like his does, but it's been reflashed by Lloyd's, which is a different method than what Ryan is using, and then we're backing it up with a Power Commander 5. And it's two ways of skinning a cat, and so it's interesting to see them both. And they both work to power the bike, and just two different ways.
It's aftermarket, okay? It's strong, lots of power. This guy right here, we can literally walk up, hit the on switch, of course helps, and idle the bike. So, OEM smoothness. We rolled 168 horsepower on this bike, 170 horsepower actually, but we see 160 foot-pounds at 3,000 RPMs. This supercharged setup, higher horsepower, faster, stronger, but I think we have the low-end launch, and I think that's what's going to help us out here for sure.
Yeah, we don't often build a bike to this. I mean, this is more or less a race bike, and so we more typically at our shop would build something that's more streetable and has more streetable power and more stock parts. But this one, I mean, it's a calling card for the shop, so we kind of put a lot.
That thing is awesome. It sure is. He's got more right here than we have in this whole thing, okay? But it's got 801 inside. We used all of our ECU flashing smartness, and I think head to head, who's gonna win? Hopefully us, but it could go either way. It really could.
Who's gonna win the race?
I think Ryland's SC is gonna win the race.
The guy in the left lane, the big shot.
I think Ryland will win. Definitely Ryland, but I'm a turbo guy, so I'm rooting for Ryan as well.
Big shot?
Victory's gonna win.
Victory's gonna win.
The rain cleared, and we finally got a chance to run, and I was just nervous. I was just real nervous. It was like if I could just get it down the track without shelling out the clutch or breaking the belt. I didn't know what I was gonna run, never run it down the track before, and so I was worried that it was gonna be too quick or that the track conditions weren't be conducive.
So race one, I was nervous. I was super scared. I've never launched a bike off of a drag strip before. And so getting into it, you know, it's like everyone's telling me it's gonna grip harder, your tires gonna come up off of the ground, you're gonna do a wheelie, you know, just telling me things, you know, telling me I need to expect things that I've never had happen before, like on the road.
We were showing up shorthanded. His SC is way faster than our shop bike. I'm sure of it. He's 180 horsepower, 185 horsepower, 165, 170 if lightning strikes. So that's a huge issue for us. We got to overcome that, right?
Big shot won the first one, 801-0.
Oh, I was amped by the second one. You know, we went down, won the first one, came back around, lined it up again.
So after the first race, going into the second race, I think I was more nervous on that second race because my nerves were already, it's new, and here I go first round and he completely destroyed me.
Everything is right on. Alex has shaken out all of his anxiety. And we lose. And it's horrible.
Shit, again.
Made a real clean second run. I think that second run was my best of the day, 11.2 at 125-ish, and then I was really feeling like top of the world, you know, because back-to-back 2 wins and good ETs, and I was just kind of getting in my groove.
I thought I totally had you that time.
To like 8 mile, you know.
That's how I feel. I was like through second. I think by the time I actually felt it's like the tire's spinning, it's burning out, we're still moving forward.
Yeah. Well, you can see my marks on the track. There's this huge long strip of rubber. Yeah, so we took a break, let some other guys race, and you know, give everyone else a chance. And I know Ryan wanted to fiddle with the tune on his.
And after those first 2 races, I definitely lost. I should go grab my highball.
So I'm like, you know what? Our setup is not the big shop setup. Our setup is ours. They are way faster than us, way stronger. We have to fight this. Even if it's at the loss of an engine or parts, I don't care. We will win this race.
While we were alive in between the 3rd to 4th and 5th races, Ryan was able to use his remote flashing unit and remote tune the bike live while we were racing it.
It's more than optimized, we redlined it. We're saying, okay, this engine might explode, okay, but we will win this race. So we upped the ignition advance, and then we had the 3rd race.
Right off of the launch, I believe I was having a little bit better throttle response off of the beginning, so that definitely made me a lot more confident not being able to see Rylan and my peripherals as I was moving forward.
Yeah, so at that point where I was winning 2-1, then the 4th one I thought, oh crap, yeah, I should probably win this race now.
Coming into the 4th race there, I just knew I had to win.
And then, of course, I couldn't get it to shift into 4th right there at the end, and just kind of smack it against the rev limiter and trying to shift it, and it wasn't going.
But we saw it win, and then we're like, Rylan's screwed. This bike is fast.
Yeah, we're all tied up.
What do you say about that?
We're all tied up.
Man, that was a close one.
So, you know, we're like, okay, we're optimized, we're over-optimized. At that point, we're at 15% operational.
And then it comes down to the final race, and this is it, you know, this is the tiebreaker. On that fifth one when I came past that line and I saw my light turn on and I knew that I had won it. Put my hands up in the air, started screaming and everything, you know, it's just the excitement, the joy.
When we saw the lights, boop, 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 and Alex launches, I'm like, it's a win already, okay? This thing is freaking fast. You see them shrink in the horizon, okay? And Alex is just on fire at that point.
And on the last race, it was running the same thing where it just spun out of the hole and just couldn't find those shifts.
It was sad and sick. This thing is, that like poor bike, you see the oil on the fender? That's a sign of, oh no, this is gone. Shop bike, I'm sorry to say, she was also on point and now she's not on point after the race.
Congratulations to 801. Yeah, he won, he beat me. He outrode me and he beat me. By the way, my bike is still running great and I have a handful, I think I got 25 passes on it while I tried to refine my technique, and it's still growing great and no problems at all, whereas the 801 bike is smoking a little bit.
We won the race, okay? But in the end, we know that the SCSC offered from the big shop was way faster than ours. He had issues on the track. It was slick, misting, and even though he lost, I sort of see it as we lost, okay? Next year, we will not lose.
It's still a quicker bike, even though I'd lost the race, so it's classic, way too much motor, not enough skill. And now that I've been able to get it down the track and take it up to its full potential, I've found the weak spots. I know now what I'm gonna do for next year, you know, what I'm gonna fix, what I'm gonna change so that I can be more consistent and quicker. We definitely need to change the shifter up, and then I'm gonna have to run sticky rubber because it was greasy out there and I was just sliding all over. You can see there's just long black marks to the 8th mile where I'm just trying to hook up.
When it gets down to it, the love and the competition here is just hand in hand. They're the exact same. You see a lot of bickering, making fun of each other and calling names, but it's all out of love. And when it comes down to it, you know, we're just here to be on two wheels.
It was a great race. We had so much fun. Everyone here was super accommodating. People showed up from all over. I think it's a great start for a future event. All right, here we are back at the Vic shop in DeSoto, Iowa. You know, it's funny because I built a bike with a supercharger on it, lost in a race to a turbo, come back to the shop, and what's waiting for me? A turbo bike to work on. So, you know, the race may not have turned out exactly the way I wanted it to. Much to my dismay, the human element played a little bit of a role there, but I'm so happy to say that the bike performed flawlessly, and that's my calling card, the work that we perform here at the Vic shop. That did good. You know, maybe my racing skills need a little honing, but in the end, I think it accomplished many goals that I had set forth. One of the most important of which is building victory community. This was a great community building project that, you know, shows the togetherness and the enthusiasm of the Victory community. And I look forward to making this a yearly event. Look forward to practicing more and upping my times and building something better and stronger and faster. And I look forward to seeing you folks there, because it's important to me that we keep the Victory lifestyle alive and vibrant. And hopefully this accomplished those goals, as well as showing off the Vic Shop, what we do, showing off Ryan at 801. We're gearheads and we like to have fun, and that's what it's all about at the Vic Shop. Thanks so much for watching and going on this journey with us. There will be more, and I look forward to seeing you then.